Hello everyone! Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Good evening everyone. This is Ria Luz of Buhay Buhay sa Amerika, right at home. And I just been inspired because yesterday we are talking about some topics that are somewhat difficult to talk about. But suddenly we were talking about sex and dying. And so I decided to talk about sex and make it a holy topic. Sex is always has a connotation of ooh, dirty, and people are so scared to talk about it in public, but they talk about it in private. So this time I want to bring it into the open, and let's talk about sex and make it a holy conversation. Are you in for that? So this is Ria Luz, as I said, and I invite you to please sit down, let's talk, and let's share about this very, very important topic. In fact, this is as important as money, as your life story, because everything will be ruined when you misuse this very important sexual organ. And I'm so glad we got right in the house. We already have Kuya Pierre Beaurgard all the way from Canada. Hello, Kuya Pierre. Thank you so much for sending this beautiful statement and comments. And he says, your love organ is more important than your brain. The origin of true love is not in your brain, it's not in your heart. And where is it? What is that organ God has placed in the middle of whole being? The very middle of everyone's body is the sexual organ. And that is something that we never think about, that how important this sexual organ, not only because it is for pleasure, but it is God's creation. And if it is God's creation, if God has created it, it must be holy. And it is, we should consider it the holy of holies. So I have with me as well, I see Josh Fontaine, our very energetic, amazing MC of the Family Federation for World, Family Federation USA. Congratulations! I got your friendship today in Facebook. Thank you so much, Josh Fontaine. He says, What is the only thing stronger than principle? It is love. Thus, love should be something you gain complete dominion over. Hey, that is deep, Josh. And talking about love, we equate sex with love. This is the top. This time we will be talking about sex, not in a dirty topic, but let's make the conversation of sex in a holy one. I'm so glad I got some of you who are here, and please let's make this conversation going. I will be sending this StreamYard link, and I'd like you to come join me if you are interested. To oops, copy. I am using a new mouse. I just sent the link. Thank you so much, Josh Fontaine and Kuya Pierre Beaurgard, all the way from Canada. I believe Josh Fontaine is from North America. And I'm using a different computer. So I am getting slow on this one. Hello, Rosalie Lord. What is the content for today, Mom? Yeah, we'll be talking about the most important topic of all, holy sex. Hey, look who I have all the way from Canada, my very good brother,
Holy
Kuya.
sex. Hey,
Uy, Kuya, can you
I,
turn off the sound
yeah,
of
sorry, I did. I was wondering why there was more people in the room than I thought.
Thank you so much, Kuya Pierre. You came. I know that you have a meeting and you should be somewhere. And my sister Rosalie Lord is asking, what is the content for today? And we'll be talking about the very topic that people
Oh,
are very scared to talk about
yes.
in public.
Yeah, in public. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you came and you are available. Hey, look who I got. Let's welcome Josh Fontaine. Hey. How are you, Josh? Welcome.
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
I'm so excited you accepted my friend request. Kuya um, Pierre Beaurgard has
Mm.
just introduced you to me that you are part of the High Noon and also a very vocal participant of this holy sex community.
Yeah, seriously, it's holy. Big
Yes.
community, absolutely.
And I think we need to really bring this to an open conversation. As yesterday we were talking about financial planning, and it was with Ramona Arias and her husband Eric. And Ramona says, "Yes, this is a very important topic to discuss." And I said, yes, because if we don't discuss and we don't take care of this important topic now, it will crush not only our heart, but our family and our lineage if we choose the wrong person in the wrong time and or use this very important organ in our body without care, carelessly, it will bring us to ruin. So, Josh, would you introduce yourself more to us? I just watch you as you become as you are emceeing in many events, and
Mm.
so uh, I'd like to ask Kuya Pierre to maybe introduce to us Josh Fontaine.
Wow. That's quite a challenge. I don't know, how can you describe someone as extraordinary as Josh? Whew.
Oh, ah,
He's a great guy. And I think also Josh comes from a fantastic family, family of a father and a mother, a daughter, a son, Josh, and his younger brother. They're very close, and they talk about sex in their family. Yeah.
it's a very important topic. I think your parents are very smart to talk about this to young people like you. And I wanted to recognize my good friend Brenda Pearson, all the way from UK, is watching us, and to all our friends who are in YouTube, in Facebook, who are watching us right now. Thank you for coming, and please share this information to others. They may not want to comment because they may be shy, but I'm sure when people hear about sex, they listen. So, Josh, we are listening to you.
You want an introduction?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Uncle Pierre, Kuya Pierre put a good introduction. I'm in a family of 5. I'm middle child. I have an older sister and a younger brother. And yeah, we do talk a lot about sex in our family. We talk a lot about love and relationship in our family. But it didn't used to be that way. That was a big journey to even get to that, to become a topic that we talked about a lot more. And Yeah, it really started with like me and my sister needing to open up to our parents a lot more. And then when we opened up, then my parents took time to open up. And then it became a big discussion that we would talk about a lot more. So lots of communication. But I love my
Yes,
family so deeply. Like, and that deepened it about 50 times, maybe more than that, 1,000 times. I don't know. I can't put numbers to it.
that's good because I think if we parents can openly talk about this to our children, it, as you said, the relationship will even get stronger, as well as the parents will really know and understand where their kids are.
Mhm.
Not only the financial situation, not only the spiritual situation, but the sexual situation is a very important topic to mention and to understand. So, Kuya Pierre, I know that you are also representing High Noon .org, an organization that is not ashamed, not scared to talk about this issue. And I'm glad that we have someone who says here, nothing to be ashamed about it. Yeah, we got one in the community that is also not scared to talk about this issue.
Mm.
Ate Rosalie Leon. So, Kuya Pierre, introduce yourself again to some of our audience who has not been uh, here from the last time you were invited to talk about High Noon and the importance of sexual purity.
So I'm here with High Noon since 2016. I became
Mhm.
interested in High Noon because I heard a presentation saying those who want to help people, other people who wanting to get overcome pornography addiction, this kind of thing, to sign up. And I signed up and I got trained and I've been helping young and older men since that time. And it's been a wonderful journey of developing very deep relationships with brothers and young and older men. But High Noon also deals with women because pornography used to be a thing that only guys were doing, but it's not anymore because the pornography industry is very aggressive and trying to develop ways to attract women. But
Yes,
it's harming people. It's harming people in their relationships. And we got to be able to accept our children if they and not blame our children. Our children are victimized by a world. We shouldn't get upset. You know, parents should never be upset if their parents have any problems with that, because it's very difficult in this society to not to be influenced by that. And we have a beautiful life and we can experience a beautiful love. And you said it, a very good word. You said you want to find the right person, but of course, first you want to be the right person. But once you become the right person, you want to find the other right person. And I found one, and well, you know that story, yeah.
yes, and you found a beautiful Filipina.
Beautiful from she's Ilocano. Any Ilocanos out there? So
Yeah.
Ilocano from northern Luzon. And I was in the Philippines in January with her and visiting family. And when I went to Boracay, El Nido, I really love the Philippines. It's an absolute paradise. And so
Wow.
much hope. And the Philippines is also, like I say, the place that is as a tradition of that is resurrecting a tradition of Harana. Of course, you had the beautiful Harana couple of Eddie and Esther Faith Bettino last Sunday. They came on this program, Josh.
Yes,
They were here, they were featured. And a little bit of technological problem is such a shame
I
because I wanted
know.
to hear Eddie sing. I don't remember what song it was.
Yeah, beautiful
Very,
song.
very emotional song,
Yes.
which is, and he is have such a beautiful heart and love. And there's nothing more beautiful than to, we all want to grow old with our love, our spouse, and we want to imagine ourselves 7 years old, walking hand in hand, and really happy to
And
be together. And I've
and that
experienced.
is only possible if you found the right person at the right time. So I wanted to share and I wanted to again say hello to my friend here. Let's do it, Maria. Thank you so much. We have also Rocha Ito, all the way from Japan, watching us.
Ohayo
And
gozaimasu.
yes, I'm glad Maria. Let's do it. Maria came back because yesterday she also joined us in our live streaming, and I wanted to first talk about there is this issue of considering sex as dirty because of the original man and woman who populated the earth. And it was originally, to me, from the teaching of Reverend Sun Myung Moon, he taught us that sex is one of the holy of holy acts. But because of the situation of Adam and Eve, who actually disobeyed God, and instead of waiting for their time, the right time and the right uh, timing when they should have perfected their love, but they took and eat this fruit that we all thought of as something, oh, it must be an apple. It is not a literal fruit that Adam and Eve has eaten, but it is, to make the story short, they covered their, not they did not cover their mouth if it was the fruit, but they covered their sexual parts and in shame. And from there, sex becomes a shameful thing. Kuya, can you turn off? Do you have something there that your phone
Who? Me?
is me or you
I have nothing else.
has, has an open, maybe mine? But I'm just
Echo?
yeah, there is an echo. Yes, Adam and Eve started from Adam and Eve that this sex becomes a taboo. And so I believe that is God has placed this. I'm glad that High Noon came to share with us. I hope that you can give your input on how we can remove this connotation of sex as dirty and taboo into something holy and something that needs to be considered very important in our lives. And do you have anything to add on that, Kuya?
Well,
Oh,
so,
wait a second. Ate Bing says, so can you explain further what is holy sex?
okay, what is holy sex? So,
It, I'll share
uh,
first.
okay,
I'll
go ahead.
just explain first why I said holy. Holy is considered holy, or what is holy sex? It is because it should be a relationship between man and woman with God in the center of that act. That is why, that is the very beginning. God has planned for Adam and Eve to dwell in Adam and Eve, even in that act of sexual relationship of Adam and Eve. And if God is in that sexual relationship, it cannot be impure, but it should be a holy act. That's why I call it holy sex. Is that is that
Yeah, that's good. I want to add a little more to that. So we can be individually, as a single person, living a holy life, right? We can treat our body as the temple in which God resides. So we want to live that kind of life where we feel like God's love is touching us, touching our hearts, touching our bodies even. But then we cannot be, God is looking for his love partner. God wants to be in love. God created us, to live intimately, skin to skin touch with us. However, the love partner of God cannot be man alone or woman alone. It's a man and woman together, because God created us in his image, male and female, he created us. So You need the male and the female, the man and woman, to unite in holy matrimony on the basis of their love for God. And then God will come on that basis and enter into their matrimonial bed, their marriage bed, and their sexual organ they will feel is the most holy place of their body. But because we use our body any which way, our sexual organ any which way, thinking it's my thing, I'll do what I want with it, blah, 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 and so on, and doesn't concern anyone, then it doesn't work. It doesn't work properly because we don't understand God's design, how God designed us. So he designed us so that our sexual organ is created to exist for our spouse. So when we are single, we should think, I'm preparing to offer this most holy, precious thing, which is my sexual organ, to my spouse, not to have all kinds of flings with it. No, then you keep it as the most holy thing. When you will do that, the moment of marriage will be an incredibly divine experience of holy sexuality, very pleasurable, holy sexuality, where God will be smiling with you, rejoicing with you. So that's what it means by holy sex.
Yes.
I don't know if that answers your question, Bing. You know, I have a sister-in-law that's called Bing.
Because I title it Holy Sex, because it's when people think of holy, like, think of sex, like,
Yeah.
But if we put holy sex, it can be, hey, So, how about you, Josh? You have anything to add?
Oh, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. The fruit. This is the problem right here. I don't know what you're saying. Sex. This is the issue. I mean, look how red it is. Yeah, that's the cause of. That's the cause of all. See, that's why you're messed up, right? Totally. I mean, holy sex. That in itself, holy in itself, has become a taboo topic today. Right? Things being holy, that means there has to be a way to do it, and that's discriminatory to some people.
Yes.
Right? That in itself is an issue. And that's why I think even in like the free world, there's been so much that they've been working on just getting sex as a topic that they can talk about more, which in its own way is okay. It's better than shaming every single thing in the world. But, there's still some twists and turns to all of that. When I see it, the most important thing, and this is the issue in the fall of Adam and Eve, and this is the issue of why all the things went so bad, and it's because they hid and they lied and they shamed themselves from God's love and from each other's love and from their own love. That was by far the biggest issue. And you see it today, because people who do anything sexually I don't know, what's the word? Wrong. They hide it, right? And it causes so many issues. When people are going through a bad relationship, they let it impact their work, they let it impact their friends, they let it impact everything in their life, because they have no control over it. They don't know how to manage it. And it causes so much pain and sorrow. That's the biggest issue, is how can they have a really solid, healthy communication about the topic? Yeah, and it goes from there.
Very important statement, Josh. And even in that fruit that you just show it again. That you know how beautiful, just like in my language, in my country, or in my language, or I would say, a fruit that is ripened from the tree tastes good. But if a fruit is forcibly ripened and you eat it, even how beautiful outside that fruit, inside it will not taste good. So it's the same as this sex. If it is in the wrong time, in the wrong person, not yet time to eat it, then it will not be good. So I think it's a very important topic to discuss, that sex should be done not just as with Ate Bing says, how can we have holy sex without being married? That is why marriage is the most important thing in every religion. No matter what religion you are in, marriage is a huge part of everyone. That is the one we waited the most, because that is the beginning of how we can procreate our lineage. Lineage comes through sex, and
Yeah.
holy sex can only happen through marriage.
Yeah.
Is that are you agreeing with that, Kuya Pierre?
Well, yeah, I agree that as a young person, you should seek to be connected, to follow God, to be obedient to God, and you're waiting to find the person that God has prepared for you. Because, like Sal here, I don't know if he's married or not, but if
He
you're not, God, you are okay. So
happy
that's
married
why you're
man.
smiling like that. I get it. But God is preparing. God loves us so much, and He wants us to be happy, and He wants us all to be married. He wants us all to have a spouse. God created us with that ideal to be able to be married. So we have to put God first if we want it to work well. Because if we're just going out there and looking for someone to make us to fill our hole, we feel something is lacking. You're looking for someone to fill that up. It's not going to work. God will fill you up. You should be already full. When you find someone, it's someone to create a destiny with, to create a beautiful, loving relationship with, not someone that will fill you up. And so the basis is to get filled up first by your relationship with God, because we know God is love, and only love can fill us. So that's my answer to that.
Yes. And our sister Rosalie Lord says, I don't think there is such a holy sex now, especially what is going on worldwide. Yes, because everywhere this sexual organ is being misused and used every time carelessly, and especially for young people or people who did not, I would say, if without thinking. I'm a nurse, and I have seen a lot of cases where this misuse of sex is happening, and it it's I could just say, I can just imagine that, especially gonorrhea. Can you imagine with that sexual transmitted diseases that you have because of misuse and not used in the right time or the right person, then that person will suffer for a long time. Not only him, but or her, but also the generation may be suffering. The
Yeah.
coming generation may be suffering.
And there's another problem, is a problem of pornography. When people look at pornography, really is that their body is getting addicted to an image and having a love relationship with a fictional person. And that is violating the purpose for which God created your sexuality. That is harmful. And for sure, but now this world is very troubled with this, but there's stuff going on. People are a bit waking up, and things are changing. The Canadian government is studying the issue of Pornhub, the biggest porn site in the world. And we know that a lot of people end up webcamming even their daughters for the sake of making money. I've heard stories that are very painful to hear. And
Yes.
there's a lot of harm being done out there. So we
Yes.
got to wake up about this. This is not an offensive entertainment. It's a lot of harm happening.
And as you were just mentioning, one of the places this hub are using are the third world countries or the poor countries, just because that's the easiest prey. And it's painful to know, as well as to think my country, Philippines, is also being affected by this pornography, not because they consume it, but they are the one who are actually becoming the prey
Mhm.
to by these
Mm.
pornographic companies, to become the victim to play. And I also wanted, Josh, do you have anything to add?
I mean, I kind of wanted to go back to one point that Bing Arbatin shared. If
Uh-huh.
ju- she wasn't saying how can we have it without being married. She's asking, so can we have holy sex without being married? A
Thank you for
question.
posting. Yes.
And that's the hot topic of the world today, right? Marriages are falling apart really badly. And pornography has a big role to play in that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Um, but this is where sex before marriage, like I'm sure both of you recognize how much emotional connection there is with
Mm-hmm.
sex, like how deep connected you get even if you don't want to. It's almost impossible to not. And I
Mm-hmm.
haven't had a relationship, and yet I can say if I hold somebody's hand, already that's enough to make fireworks start moving. You know,
Yes.
you're just walking and you bump shoulder to shoulder with someone, you're sitting on a chair and your like leg touches their you know, you go crazy. What if this is the one? Now imagine being with a person like where you're literally having sex with the person. You know, I'll give this as the really soft innuendo for it. It's impossible to disconnect fully from that kind of relationship. Can you have holy sex without being married? What is holy sex really? It's a big commitment. That's a really big commitment that you need to have. Are you going to just have a relationship with someone without being married, and then you know, in the back of your mind, it's okay to break up in 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, 10 years? That should never be a mindset in the back of your mind. That's not holy, because that's not ideal. That's not absolute. Not at all. Marriage isn't even absolute anymore. It's even getting to that point. That's so sad. When you have it, like you're supposed to wait for a very specific reason because you're supposed to reach sexual maturity or integrity where you're so focused and you live your life preparing on how to have a um like a life, not even a lifelong relationship, like an eternal relationship with someone. No matter what, I'm going to stay with someone until like nothing, not even death would break it. It's like beyond that. That's the kind of mentality you need to have. So strong it needs to be. You can't break that with relationships that come beforehand. You can't break that with like porn or just like this I like ogling at every single person I see on the street. There needs to be some kind of discipline that you're trying to gain for the purpose of when you're with somebody, you know, I'm going to make this last forever and I'm going to make that person so happy that they would rather die than leave me. And it has to be the same way around. That's why you need to be a commitment before even having a relationship. There should be such an undying commitment before you even make this like sexual commitment to each other. So the sexual commitment makes it even stronger. That's why it's so important. Like you see so many studies of people who have relationship before marriage and how it literally just corrupts. It causes issues down the line, whether they want to believe it or not. It just does. Families with relationships beforehand has so many problems later on down the road. It's like a big issue. So that's why you need to be married beforehand. You need to understand, not just do it because my parents told me so. You need to do it because you have to understand how valuable your sexual organ is and how valuable it is to share that with someone else. That's what I believe so strongly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josh. That is powerful, and especially a statement from young people like you. We thank you for having that courage, and we hope your future spouse would be so happy. Would be so proud that you have kept yourself for her when the right time comes. I can't wait to see this very lucky lady.
I can't wait to see her too.
And
How,
there are other young people.
how old are you, Josh?
22.
Oh my God, you're just my daughter's age. You can be my son.
you can,
Rose,
you
Rose,
can be my grandson.
yeah, Rosalie Lord. I agree with Josh 100%.
All
Well said, Ross. Brenda Pearson said, and as far Adib says, great to see this useful discussion by expert
my
panelists,
friend from Montreal.
particularly by my respected friend Pierre. Yay! And I agree. Same age with my oldest daughter. Oh, look, so many, so many people are going to really respect you, Josh. And I hope many more young people will have that kind of heart. I saved myself for the right person, for the person God has prepared for me, because I have one thing that I can say is in the marriage bed is that's why it's very important that you really keep the purity before marriage, because in especially in my country in the old days we were taught that the best thing you can give to your spouse is your purity. It is the purity that on your first night, it is only the man you marry is what will you give yourself to. And that is my mom. She's a widow, and when we were young, she keeps on insist in telling us all the time. Uh, it may not sound good to other language, but she always emphasized, never give your puto, never give your puto unless you're married. Puto means your love. Instead of
Never give your puto. Never.
never, never give your puto unless you got a ring, you know. And I think it stuck on me that every time something can come up and I would think of you know I will never be able to do that because my mom emphasized never give that puto. Oh, look, hey Josh, there are so many 22 years old here.
Yeah, seems like a popular age, huh?
Brenda Pearson's daughter from UK is also 22 years old. Gisley says, 22 years. Wow. I remember attending Josh's first birthday in Delaware. Wow. Gisley knows you,
Really?
Josh.
Seems like it, yeah.
Oh.
She even got the right state.
Small world.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Hello, Auntie Gisley.
Yes. Well, I'm so glad that many people can relate at this young age and 22. I think that's a very people think of 18 as matured. I would not really consider 18 as maturity. Even I think 18 years old in America, they put too much pressure on young people, thinking that they are already, oh, you can now be independent. But I think there's still so much to learn from the parents if they can still stay at home and not be so independent, because that's where many things can fall apart if they did not have a strong relationship and bond with their parents. Would you agree on that, Josh, as young people?
Relationship and bond with your parents, I think, is first and foremost most important thing you can have growing up in your life. I believe that your parents represent God physically.
Oh,
They're not God, but they represent God physically.
Yes.
For you. You need to have such a deep relationship with them. Who are you going to go to? You shouldn't have to go to, sometimes some people's relationships with their parents are not ideal. Sometimes things happen, like parents pass away, sad, right?
Yes.
But, especially if you have the ability for it, your parents should be the first and foremost people you go to for anything. Right? They understand you, they raised you, they love you deeply, even if they don't see it sometimes. But when you have that deep, you have a big background to go on. You know, it's very hard to lose yourself completely when you're so united in heart with parents and siblings for that matter.
Yes, that's why a family should really be connected to each other. And thank you, Josh, for bringing this out. Maybe to young people, let them be reminded that no matter what happened, the parents will always forgive. The parents will always take them back, you know. And many times as young people, they try to leave the house because I want to be independent. But the parents, it's just like God, as you said, our parents are God's representative who loves us unconditionally, and no matter what, will always be welcome to come back. And I think this is something that also need to be reminded to American families, because somehow it's been breaking very easily. The relationship becomes so apart right after they turn 18, and they don't want any more having relationship with any family members. And that's why some people ended up even more heartache because they cannot talk to their parents anymore because they consider themselves as I'm now an adult. I can now don't need to consult you. So thank you, Josh, for bringing that message to us.
What I'd like to say is maybe some people are listening and they're thinking, wow, that's such an incredible ideal they're talking about. They're so idealistic. And my reality is I've had this problem or that problem. And maybe some people are feeling bad, you know. How I can never go and tell that to my parents or, and Josh is so lucky to talk about it openly in his family, but there's no way. I'd rather die than talk about it. It's impossible. And maybe they're right. Maybe their parents won't receive it well. So, but there's always a way back. And for one thing is that also we have an image sometimes that God is waiting to punish you if you did something bad. But that is not at all the case. God is loving absolutely everyone, no matter what your situation is. I mean, maybe someone could be a call girl, and God loves that girl so much, you know,
Yes.
and He wants her to come back. He wants her to come back, and He wants her, you can. Everybody can. So you need to find a trusted person you can talk to.
Yes.
If it's your parents, great. But if you don't feel, you find a trusted friend, an elder, an uncle, an auntie, your pastor at your church, maybe an elder, or find someone. Go and open up. And God is going to work through that. And we can all have a good life because that's the kind of God we know. It's a God that really loves us unconditionally without judgment. And He wants us to live a life without shadows. That's the way we're going to live. We won't have secrets. And so I hope that some people who are listening can reach out, and it can be an evening where God touches their hearts and that they turn around. And that they find a new beginning to their life. And maybe they've had a failed relationship and they feel so bad. Well, it's time to make a new start tonight. You know, turn to somebody you trust and tell them about your pain and what you've been through. And give God a chance. Test God. Says, oh, apparently you want to help. I don't know. I don't believe it. Get angry with God even. If you want. If you feel angry, get angry. There's nothing He can't take. He can hear you out. And go and find someone. He will guide you to somebody, I'm sure. I'm feeling like if I'm a televangelist here.
I think you are already doing a practice of being a televangelist, Kuya Pierre, televangelist of pure love. And
Yeah.
I got a sister Gisli question here. What can you say to the people who say that abstinence is just a religious perspective? Uh, Thank you for your question, Gisli. I think abstinence is what do you call this? It's not forever. It's only abstinence before the marriage. After marriage, please do not practice abstinence.
Well, I can say this: there are some people who practice who are not religious who will stop pornography, masturbation, this kind of thing. There's NoFap, this kind of websites, and there are people who are non-religious who realize that by stopping this kind of activity, you get better. It brings brain changes to your brain. Your brain heals, and you become more capable. Because when you're addicted sexually, when you do things like this, you lose your ability to connect emotionally with people. So you want to do it to increase your mental health and your emotional health, and that's why you want to do it. If you don't believe in God, well, you can't force someone to believe in God. God loves you anyway, even if you don't believe in Him. So, but I don't know. There's no simple answer to that. Josh, what would you say?
Well, I mean, Uncle Pierre is put aside the NoFap and put aside porn, masturbation, and all of that. Abstinence with a partner. A non-religious person would still practice abstinence without a partner, yes or no? Until marriage? Yeah. Because you only mentioned external like substances, essentially.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think some people can feel it, and they're very intuitive. They feel like I should wait until we really commit to a relationship. And if you don't want to call it marriage, don't call it marriage, but have a committed relationship. So there's a big difference between having sex and just like eating a hamburger, let's say, like junk food, and having. Oh, Eric, nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Eric.
Yeah, there's a big difference between that and keeping yourself for the person you love. There's something very precious about saying, I'm going to keep my sexuality for the person I'm going to commit to. If you don't religious and you don't believe in marriage, well, still believe in commitment. Believe in commitment, and there's something very precious there. That's what I would say.
I think that's a good answer. Commit and be monogamous is a very important aspect. And how the reason why I was talking about making it holy, how can we make sex holy, is when we can understand what God's plan from the very beginning, from Adam and Eve. As you have just pointed out, Kuya Pierre, before, that God's plan is for Adam and Eve to become his body from the very beginning. And that's why it should be a holy act. So if we can understand what is God's plan for our life, and especially on regards to our sexual organ, when I like the how Reverend Moon pointed it. Man holds the husband holds the key and to the wife's sexual organ, and the wife holds the husband's the key to the husband's sexual organ. In if only that person is allowed to enter, then the holy of holies will remain holy. But if that the key is given everywhere, too many keys, too many duplicate, it's not going to be a holy anymore. And it's something, especially the only thing you can share everything to people. You can share your wealth, you can share your anything is possible to share. The only thing that can never be shared is the love of husband and wife. Once that is broken and is shared too many times to so many other people, the trust and the whole relationship will turn to even it turn out bad. So
I like the point on trust. That's a really big one.
Yes,
that gets overlooked a lot. The trust gets very broken, whether you like to believe it or not. The trust gets broken. That's a big one.
And I saw one topic on a video of this. They are married. They just got married, I think it was the video of open slate topic given by Ate Heidi Isda. Very beautiful. I wish I have that video. But this is a picture where on their first night, on their honeymoon, because suddenly there are so many people in the room, and those are people who the wife and the husband had sex with before marriage. It's like you're bringing all the elements of all the people that you had sex with in the past on that very first on the relationship of a husband and wife. If premarital sex has been practiced too many times, so I think that is also something we need to think about. I that just have one key. The husband got the wife's key, and the wife got the husband's key to your sexual organ. And that will be the way to keep the marriage even stronger.
I have one more thing I wanted to mention to guys out there that are thinking, maybe they're watching pornography, and they say they feel like the body of a girl is very attractive and all this. And of course it is, there's no question. But when a woman is showing her naked body, you have to think she's showing her holiness. And this I have from someone called Doug Weiss. He talks about this. She's showing her holiness, but her holiness is meant for her husband. Your nudity is your holiness, and your holiness is meant for your husband. So when you look at pornography, you're looking at a holiness that is not meant for you. It's not meant for you. It's meant for that person's spouse. Everybody deserves to have love. So think about it this way, and think, then look away and think, no, I don't want to look at that. It's not right. It's not right.
But it's very, very difficult. I think sex is a very addictive. That's why I think God put that after marriage, when in a marriage, because I believe, especially for men, they try to court the woman before they get them before marrying them. And the woman in the past would always say, hard to get. They try to be a hard to get wife or a girlfriend. But once, I always tell this, once a man gets you, the love is changed. It's the woman who's now chasing the man, because you have experienced it, and now that you have experienced it, you're now going to be changed. That's why it's good for young people not to experience it at an early time or in the wrong time. Experience sex only when it is the right person and the right time, because without, if you experience it in the wrong time, it's an addicting. That's why the pornography becoming a very, very lucrative business, and the bad guys put more and more money, or gets more money, because they play with our mind. And the sad thing. Josh, are you able to answer for us the question? Josh, as a young adult, what is your tips or advice to our young generation with the same age who are experiencing sexual temptation? I think this should be a question for Kuya Pierre, or our older generation. It may be hard for
Josh is also, like me, facilitator to help young men struggling with temptation. So no, I'd like to hear Josh on this.
It's a hard and an easy answer, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it goes back, to be honest, I actually do think it goes back to your earlier question. What can you say to people who say abstinence is just a religious perspective? Because usually, if you're experiencing sexual temptation and you're also hiding that, it's because there's a big hurt or a big pain which is causing you to hide it and make it dwell even deeper and deeper. And even with the abstinence, just a religious perspective, I would actually say, yeah, it is just a religious perspective for a lot of people, because they were never taught what abstinence is truly supposed to be. They only hear, don't have sex, don't do it, just don't do it. But my friends do, don't do it. That's it. That's the only reason. It's not good enough. That's really not good enough. That's pretty toxic, actually. And at that point, yeah, it's just a religious perspective, because it just becomes something that's preventing you from experiencing love and joy that maybe you're not experiencing. So you need to figure out how to get that in a healthier place. That's first and foremost, most important thing. Understanding why, go deeper. Why is abstinence a practice that's followed so deeply for many religious traditions? And at the end of the day, most important thing there is the communication. I've heard horror stories of couples who practice abstinence in their church, right? They're abstinent from sex until marriage, and then they got married, and then they had sex, and then they felt dirty, and they felt like they were looked at different, because they're not a pure holy child anymore. They're stained with this evil act, even if it was within marriage. And whether or not people actually looked at them that way, it doesn't matter, because that's how they looked at themselves. That's wrong.
Yeah.
That's wrong. That's probably worse, honestly. I couldn't imagine. And then they lost their faith completely. They were broken from that.
So what could have been done differently so they wouldn't have experienced that?
Most important thing should have been openly talking about it in the family and with trusted, brother or sister figures or elders or anything. If you're struggling with sexual temptation, let's say you're watching porn, you're staring at people, you're fantasizing all the time, you're masturbating all the time, or even just sometimes, or you've got these feelings in your heart and you don't know why they're there. Are you scared to tell somebody that? If you are, there's probably something wrong. Because, if you were comfortable with those sexual temptations, if you totally felt that, this is A-okay and I'm good to do whatever I want, then you would be totally fine sharing that with the most important people in your life. But there's part of you that doesn't do that. Or you go through a long time of keeping it a secret until you get to a point, I'm just going to do it and share with whoever, which we also see a lot today. That should be first and foremost, something's wrong here if I feel wrong about it and I need to figure that out. It should be an open talk. It should be not just you opening up, but it should be an open talk from the most important people in your life as well, to be able to understand you. My parents, what was really hard was sometimes going to them, and it hurt them to hear my own sexual temptations and struggles. It hurt them a lot, and it made it hard for me to share. And it took a lot of time and effort and, some tears, and a lot of tears, and, understanding to get to a point where we could openly talk about it more and more, where it became not an evil topic, and not something that I had to be scared about, but something that I could work together with to understand better. And, and through that, I came to my own decision why I want sexual integrity. It wasn't my parents that told me to do that. It wasn't my church that told me to do that. It wasn't my friends. It was not my friends who told me to do that. It was me and God, but me who really wanted to do that. And, temptations are still there. That doesn't magically just go away. Very few people magically just kick them out. But I work with it a lot more. I don't keep things inside anymore. I am an open book. People could ask me anything and I'll let it out. I won't keep it hidden, because I don't have a secret agenda in my heart that I have to hide. And I think that's first and foremost.
I think it's a testimony if you can live like in Josh's family and his experience, when you can live, talk openly and really communicate well. You gain a lot of self-confidence. I think, Josh, you've gained in self-confidence, right?
I was so shy as a kid. I couldn't move.
Great confession, Josh. And Ramona Arya says, wow, this is a great topic. Yes, communication is great. And listening with an open mind. great advice, Josh. And that is really a good. Thank you so much, Josh, for answering that very hard question. And it's also, I think, for us as parents, we should be open minded when our children are talking to us on this very hard topic. If we give them advice instead of listening, they stop talking anymore. So I remember a conversation with my two younger daughters about their some future plans of marriage, and I'm like, uh, we ended up talking until 3 in the morning,
Wow.
just because they were talking about they have this you know girls will talk about their crushes, and they were able to talk to me about their crushes. And so it was for me, I'm happy that they're talking, and instead of keeping it from me, when I heard them talking to me about their that issue, it helps me to understand their situation and pray for them. And I think, and then after our conversation, the girl said that, thank you for listening to us, mom. And I think that is something I learned that night, that I don't have to nag or give advice. I just need to listen.
Mhm.
And our communication is going to even be open, because now they know that they can talk to me about their crushes, and I will not say put them down, but instead I want to hear, and I will support them if whatever their decision. So thank you, Josh, for your advice. And I too learn from you. And Pau says, oh, tamsak na, all the way from Japan. And Eric Sanabria says, it is
Yes.
so important to keep open communication with our children. We have to start earlier than we think to have the sex talk with our kids. We
Yeah.
want them to learn the right way. Yes, it's very, very good. Uh,
Mm,
really let them know at an early age.
yeah, I was gonna say, sadly, they're gonna find out whether you tell them or not at a young age. I mean, I work in a school, and those kids are talking about sex from like 10 years old and under.
Wow.
Right? They're gonna find out.
Yeah.
So if you're not the one to tell them in a more safe, connected place, they're gonna find out in a different way, and it's gonna be a lot harder.
That is at a young age. Well, I think it may be because we are actually bombarded by this issue. Even from the moment they were like 2 years old, they already was joking to kids. Do you have a boyfriend? Two year
Mm-hmm.
old, 2 year old kid, you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a boyfriend or girlfriend? Who you want to have a boyfriend? That is should never be asked to a little kid, because that's already giving them idea about it. So
So
They just
there's,
don't know. They think boyfriend and girlfriend is just hold hands.
I know there's a program called School of
Lord,
Love. I posted the link there, Ria.
yes,
Schooloflove.org. It's to help parents talking to their children, like Josh was saying, from 10 years old. They're talking about it at school. So don't think if you talk to them, you're going to get them interested and you're so worried. No, they're going to go there. You're going to hear about it. So there's all kinds of websites. Protect Your Mind, School of Love. Look for tips and how to speak to your children from a very young age. And you can have families like what Josh is experiencing in his family, and the kind of relationships that Ria has. I have to say, in my family, my parents, I never spoke anything about that. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I'm listening to
my
you
mom
guys. I'm
has
jealous.
at a young age never give that tuto. it's it got even though she did not talk about it directly, but she keeps talking about that. all the time. Every time I get tempted, I have to think of what my mom said. Never, never, puto.
You have to be careful how you say that, though. Kids are more awkward than you as
Yeah.
parents. They're more scared to talk about it than parents are, especially than the family. You have to be careful how you say and educate, because you can hurt them without meaning to.
Yes.
It's very, it's a lot of thought, a lot of deep thought, and like practice and a lot of work, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I should say it. Never give yourself. That's what my mom means.
Yeah. I mean, we're coming close to the end of time, right?
Thank
Yes. I wanted to leave everyone with one thing that I think is
you.
very important. Maybe you also think is kind of weird, but it's okay. Um, my favorite thing to do now, I'm at 22 years old, right? My favorite thing to do now is talk to my parents about their relationship life. I say that because, when I say sex life, I think sex is more than just in the bedroom. Well, you say sex is probably 90% out of the bedroom, right? Not in the bedroom. It's like what you do, everything outside, and then it'll impact what you do in the room, right? If you're in a bad day, you're probably going to have a bad relationship. It's one of my favorite things is to talk to them about it. And especially in the last 3 years, I tell everybody fact, okay? Because I can see it, not physically see it. I can see it in their like behavior and their relationship. I can see it in that way. Their sex life has improved because I have also tried to help them. Like, imagine your kids are trying to help you in your sex and relationship life because they want to see you be better. You can talk to each other. Sometimes I'm sure you're frustrated. Sometimes you need to vent, and your kids are there because they love you to the ends of the world and they want you to be super happy, right? My parents, I hear my dad saying all this stuff and my mom saying all this stuff, and I'm collecting everything, and I'm like, I know what's wrong and I want to help you so badly. And, you just take time, and I know their relationship has improved, and there's still so much more to improve, but it's gotten so much better. And they're like more understanding of each other, more understanding of like each other's difficulties, and it's gonna get better and better and better. I know they're getting older, and it's just gonna get better with age. They're gonna be like a fine wine, I guess.
God bless you, Josh. Your parents, I have not met your parents, but I am so thankful to their parents for bringing up a son like you. And I can't wait for what the future generations that will come from you. May God bless you and your family even more. And I know that I hope you will join the blessing. I heard in our church, we consider marriage as blessing because truly marriage is a blessing if you find the right man and the right woman at the right time. So my hope and prayer for you is that God will give you the right person at the right time.
God bless. Thank you.
Kuya, do you have anything to add?
I think you've said it all. I mean, I hope people in the Philippines are listening, and wish you a great coming period of Easter and coming soon. And this Sunday, there's a rally of hope, right, Kuya? I'm sorry, I'm tired, I guess. Yeah,
Yes, there's another rally of hope this
a
time.
rally of hope. So you can get a lot of inspiration also there. So I don't know where's a website link to register, but people
I
can
mean,
register.
it's rallyofhope.org. And
Rally of hope. Right?
yeah, Ramona say hello, Pierre.
Oh, hi, Ramona. So nice to see you last night. You and your husband are such a wonderful couple.
Yes, I believe Ramona and Eric Sanabria are really wonderful couple, wonderful family. And I look forward that I can come visit Ramona and bless her husband and their family. And I appreciate you, Josh, for coming, for being with us tonight. Even with such a short notice, you actually not only sweeten this conversation, but you really put the meat in this whole conversation, especially seeing young people's perspective on this topic. It is very refreshing, and I thank you for coming. And Kuya Pierre, thank you so
Yeah.
much
And
for
I put the link there, Rally of Hope. It's there.
uh,
So
valuable.
people can register, click on the link and register. And it's going to be a fantastic event. You don't
Uh,
see it? Put it in
post
the chat.
Rally of Hope right now.
Yeah. Okay, I'll put it in. I don't know.
There, Uncle Pierre, it's sent. It's sent.
Yeah,
Ah, there it is.
Rally of Hope. And my good sister, Sister Mary Hida. I just caught the last part, the last of your program. Thank you for coming, my good sister, Mary Hida. Oops, that is the problem when I have an incoming call. My mom is calling. Um,
Holy family.
yeah, so I better give her a call back. And so thank you so much. Ate Josie just came in. She says, "Hi,
Oh,
Rita. I missed the whole show."
oh, that's so bad. Too bad.
No, Ate, you can still watch it, replay. It would be an honor to have you listen to this conversation. And maybe after this, you'll also fall in love with Josh Fontaine. Is that how you pronounce it, Josh?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So Josh,
Maybe he's going to get a lot of proposals.
Oh my god.
no, he's already meant for somebody.
Yeah.
Oh
And
man.
I wish. Look, he's blushing. So thank you so much, Josh, for coming, and
Mm.
Kuya Pierre for being with me tonight. And I hope that you, Anthony Hechanova. Hello, Chinito Anthony. Thank you so much. And as I just want to thank everyone for giving us your time. And let's talk again. And maybe many more issues we can share. As please like and subscribe to Buhay Buhay sa Amerika. This is our radio show here in Arizona. And I'm using, we have a station at the Entre Mujeres radio station for the real program, but on live streaming, whenever I am available, I try to bring informative stories and something we can talk about. Just like this, these are hard thing to speak about, but having Kuya Pierre and Josh Fontaine joining us, it really gave the meat and substance on this topic. So Josh and Kuya Pierre, thank you so much for coming, and I hope I'll see you again soon.
Thank you for having us. That was wonderful.
God bless.
God bless you.
Magandang gabi, I think. Right?
Yes, magandang
Magandang gabi.
at magandang umaga, Pilipinas.
Oh yeah, magandang umaga in the Philippines.
All my friends.
Anyone hailing from the Philippines there?
Yes,
Hello,
Edward.
sir. Edward Langsina.
Yes, hello, Sir Pierre Beaurgard and Josh. And
I can say I'm Italian, but Italians are basically Filipinos in Europe. I lived with a Filipino family for 1 year. I can say very, very similar.
Really?
So we're basically the same. I'm telling you. If you had to switch the two countries, no difference would happen. Same
Wow.
people.
That is a good thing to learn, that Italians and Filipinos, just like Mexican and Filipinos, are
Yeah.
so similar.
Mexican and Filipinos. You know, the Filipinos are called the Mexicans of Asia, right?
Yes.
She's the holy trinity of North America, Europe, and Asia.
The whole world. The whole world is one.
Yes. And Edward Laxina says, we are handsome too.
Oh, that's for sure. Filipinos are pretty darn handsome.
And Ramona said, yes. So thank you so much, Josh. I appreciate you and Kuya Pierre Beaurgard, and to all of you who join us. Thank you so much for joining, and please join us again. Please like and subscribe to Buhay Buhay sa Amerika. And also, Josh Fontaine has a YouTube channel. Please subscribe to his YouTube channel. Do you have a YouTube channel, Josh?
No, I don't.
Oh no?
I think it's a prophecy. You're going to have.
See? Look at that. He says, I love it, the Holy Trinity. And Lito Juliano TV all the way from Malaysia. Mashmas,
Malaysia.
brother.
And Mashmash.
Mm.
Where's Mashmash?
Mashmas is, I believe, here in Arizona.
Okay.
So nice to meet all of you.
Yes. So maraming salamat for joining, and thank you for coming to our broadcast tonight. As we end this, please like and subscribe to Buhay Buhay sa Amerika and share this very informative topic. God bless you.